What the Flux is brought to you by DeLoreanRental.com. If you're looking to rent a DeLorean time machine, DeLorean Rental has you covered. They have time machines all across the United States, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, and adding more cars daily. Check out all of their packages to see what would best fit your event at DeLoreanRental.com or call 708-292-0236.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
All your questions will be answered. Roll tape.
Live from the former Institute of Future Technology in Orlando, Florida, you're listening to What the Flux with her host, Caitlin Larkin and Eugene Schnee.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks and geeks, welcome to the special Back to the Future show here with What the Flux with Miss Caitlin. Caitlin, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Did you know
Did I know
that somebody's listening to this conversation?
Wait, we've been bugged?
Yes, we have.
Uh-oh.
And guess by who?
By who?
Well, he says it's from the FBI, but I don't believe him. But are you from the FBI?
Definitely not from the FBI.
That's right, because you're from the I was going to make it Back to the Future. You're from the BTF.
The BTF.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll edit that out.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. I was laughing. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good, very good. Surviving the quarantine blues.
Yes, a lot of that. A lot of people seem to be going through that right now. So I'm happy to hear you guys are doing okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, we
Right back at ya.
I know. We at least have Back to the Future to help us during this tough times, and we have you online here to help us out.
Yes, Jason is our special guest host today because Anthony and Brooke, for some reason, still have not been found.
Yes, they got kidnapped, I believe, by aliens, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we believe they've been abducted by aliens, but we're not sure.
I'm just going to go with it and just say they were.
That's fine.
That's fine. No, we got Jason in the house. Jason, who are you? Tell our guests and our viewers, who are you?
Well, I'm certainly not from the FBI, so I think you'll be happy to know that. But yes, you can rest easy for right now. So as many people may or may not know, I run Back to the Future HQ, or Back to the Future headquarters, on social media.
Best social media representation of Back to the Future ever, if I do say so myself. I've been following Jason for quite a while now. How long have you been moderating that?
I started about 2 years ago. I think April was 2 years, which to me is crazy.
All
That's
right,
gone by
congrats.
that quickly. Thank you. I appreciate it. So there's a lot of great pages out there. I'm certainly not the only one. So I appreciate the kind words. But there's so many out there. I feel like we have so much Back to the Future fandom at our fingertips just by clicking on anything really social media. So it's kind of a crazy world to live in right now.
But is it true that you have the most follows and likes out of any of those pages?
For Instagram, yes. We just passed. I say we, it's me, but yeah, we just passed 75,000 followers yesterday. So that was a pretty big.
That's awesome.
75,000. You're talking 75,000.
Yes, 75,000, which is to me.
Wow.
I started it as a fan, just like everybody else. I'm as normal as a guy as it gets. I just happened to love Back to the Future. Started it, and it got big quickly, and so, it certainly afforded me a lot of opportunities with talking to cast members, different people, certainly like yourself. So it's been great. So things are going good. I'm enjoying it, just with all the, again, pictures and videos and just a lot of things that have been coming up recently, Back to the Future related, with it being the 35th anniversary year. So.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is awesome. Well, we are so happy to have you on today.
So Jason, let's get back to, let's go a little back, no pun intended, let's go back to the past.
Yes.
What year, and tell us your experience of, your first experience with Back to the Future.
Your Back to the Future love story, as we like to call it on What the Flux.
Oh, beautiful. Well, it obviously, I'm an 80s guy. I mean, I was born, I'm old. I was born in 1978. I'm 41 years old. So I do have, yes, I have a little bit of age on you guys. So I do remember my mother.
No, you're the same age.
We're the same age, Jay, but
I've seen your guys' pictures. Come on. You guys don't look a day over, 25, 30. So.
Well, I want to thank my doctor, Dr. Bullshit, for that facelift. So tell us your love story with Back to the Future.
Yeah, I mean, it grew up, my mother taking me, and, back then, obviously, I certainly remember going, and even then, eventually, when the ride opened, I remember going down to Florida and being able to go on the ride as a child, or late teenager, maybe, so to speak. But it started there, and then from there, it progressed to, in high school, I had all of them put on one VHS tape, so instead of popping in 1, 2, and 3, each at their own time, I had somebody who put all 3 on one VHS tape. And
That is smart.
it is smart, and now, gosh, with how you can stream things, it's certainly not as tough as it was back then. But I would fall asleep every night, and I kid you not, every night, particularly in high school, and I would fall asleep watching Back to the Future every single night.
That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, so it started from there, and again, it's just crazy how many cool things have come out since the movie. People that have worked on the movie, or cast, crew, pictures and videos, and it's taken on a life of itself. Really, I think Back to the Future now has really, new generations are becoming familiar with it, and it's really cool to see these newer generations and now falling in love with the movie that we've all been watching for years and years.
Interesting. And is there any particular scene from the movies that always has stuck in you? I mean, I know it's a hard one to ask, but any particular scene that you always go, oh my God, that's like, I have to see that scene?
I'm a sentimental guy. I absolutely love, and it's not my favorite. Part 3 is not my favorite one of the trilogy, but I love it when Doc is reading his own letter from, the future, and he's thanking Marty for being such a kind and loyal friend. He's made a real difference in his life. To me, I always get goosebumps at that part. I think it's such a good movie just at the roots of the movie, but just that part really lets you see the relationship that Marty and Doc had and how much they meant to one another. I always love that part.
That's an underrated moment for sure.
Yeah, especially now with the anniversary coming up on Monday.
Yes.
Yes, I know, right? Hard to believe that 1990, it was just back in simpler times.
much simpler times. I'm looking forward to you guys' episode on that. That's going to be fantastic. So.
Oh,
yeah.
we're going to transport everybody back to 1990. Some might cry, some might laugh, but I can assure you, most of it's going to be crying because
I was only 7 months old, so the's definitely a lot of crying.
Yeah, Caitlin's not going to be allowed on the show for that one, so I'll be calling you again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll tell you when you're older. Anyways, it's interesting to hear you about, like, you mentioned you were an 80s guy, and obviously you saw the movie, I take it in the theaters, and it's always hard to, when you express the movies and you tell the movies about people, like the fact that you had to go to the theaters to watch this movie, the fact that, back in the day, there was no, if you wanted to see Back to the Future again, guess what? You had to go back to the theater. Or, if it was at your favorite video store or Blockbuster or anything like that, that was the only way to watch these movies. Hello?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You didn't have a point.
Oh, no.
0 point.
I couldn't hear him. So I was like, so now here comes the point. So my question to you was like, have you come across with fans or anything like, you tell people like, oh, this is my favorite scene and blah, 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 whatever. But then they're like, oh, yeah, because I rewind it all the time or go back and you think to yourself, wow, back then, how hard was that to do? That's the point.
And it's a good point. I mean, nowadays, shoot, you just rewind, go back and forth as much as you want. Back then, you're literally hitting the rewind button. You're waiting for the tape to go all the way back to that scene because you wanted to just watch that scene over and over and over again. And so, yeah, we had it much harder back then, in the 80s and 90s with these VHS tapes. Kids nowadays just even rotary phones. I mean, I've seen, I think, a video on Facebook where they had some kids in high school here like a couple months ago trying to use a rotary phone and they had no idea what it was. So to me, it's just...
Oh man, I've seen that video. That hurts my heart. But the one thing that got me was maybe like 2 years ago, I was working at Hard Rock and taking guests on a tour, and the family had a little girl who's maybe about 10 years old. And on the wall, we had like a gold record, but it also had like a gold single on it. And she had no idea what a cassette tape was, and that just broke my heart.
That's tough. It's just crazy. Even
it's awful.
Looking back at even, you remember when cell phones first came out?
Oh yeah,
That's right.
to where they are now, it is just it's. I can remember my first color cell phone. That when it was a flip phone, but it had a color screen. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that's true. And obviously, have you ever, I mean, here comes the eternal question for you. Having been able, excuse me, having been able to, oh my God, I'm going through puberty. Having been able to do the ride here, you did it in Florida, correct?
Correct. Yep, Florida. I didn't get to do it in LA.
Okay, so having had the chance to come here and everything, what were your thoughts on the ride?
I mean, obviously, it's been quite some time ago, but another cool thing that you can do is, number one, I loved the ride. I thought it was fantastic. It was unbelievable. It was so much fun as a kid. They had the cars all, you can get in and sit in them, and it was just, as a kid, absolutely amazing. And I think one of the fun things now that a lot of people that weren't able to go on the ride, you can go on YouTube and you can watch the actual ride. Now, you're not sitting in the car, but you can watch what it looked like on the big screen from start to finish. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to do that or not, but that's another thing that is pretty amazing nowadays, just with technology that you can do. Since again, a lot of people weren't able to, unfortunately, go on the ride. So,
to me personally, it was. I mean, I got to do the ride a couple of times, and obviously, it was my favorite ride of all times, and it became that thing that when you go to Universal, you had to do, which I think you probably agree with me on that one. But sometimes, have you heard about some people saying that when you did the ride, that was kind of like, did it feel for you like that was part of like a Back to the Future Part 4, or that was kind of like a section of Back to the Future? Because I've heard some people say that, there's some people, it's a trilogy. Yeah, but the ride could technically be considered Part 4 of the movie series. I was like, huh? I mean,
to me, the Telltale game is more Part 4 than the ride was. I mean, the ride's just the ride. Yeah, it's kind of a continuation of the story, but you're only in there for 15 minutes? Not even.
It was a short movie.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah, it's very good. I've never heard of anybody say that, but I think it's a good analogy. Certainly, we're all individuals. Everybody has their own way of looking at things, but I think that's a very interesting outlook on it. So I can certainly see how some people would say that. Yeah.
That being said, would you be open for a Back to the Future 4 or Back to the Future remake? Oh!
No, cough, no way.
You want to think about that
one? Listen, I can with that, you've seen the newer kind of Karate Kid, how they've done that with you. I know.
I love Cobra Kai.
You don't like
Cobra Kai?
I do like it. I do. I think they've done a good job with that. The way they've done it is so it's not diminishing the original films. It's taking it from a certain point and moving it forward. I actually like it. Now, if they could do something like that with Back to the Future, I wouldn't be as opposed to that as if they were to make another movie. That's not going to happen. So that's just not going to happen.
Could you imagine being at that, like, even if if they had the balls to do this, let's say that they did.
Cash is king.
They decided.
I always.
Can you imagine the people protesting? You already have 75,000 people as fans. That's 75,000 people that are going to be writing letters, pretty much pissed off. You're going to be pissing off 75,000 people.
More than that, you're going to be pissing off millions.
Oh my God.
Nobody wants this. Nobody wants it. The Bobs don't want it. It's never going to happen. Case closed.
I agree. You get certain people who do want it. I mean, I get people, I'll post like the joke memes like Back to the Future 4. You'll get people that are like, when? Yes, great, fantastic. When's it happening? And I'm like, oh gosh. So it's not, but never can say never. The Bobs have said no, absolutely not. But again, if Universal and they were to throw enough money at them, it's hard for them probably to say no, but I think their head and their heart is in the right place. They've always said absolutely not. It would ruin the franchise. We don't want to do that. We're not selling our baby into prostitution, so to speak.
That's right.
I like their stance on it, and
that's the part that scares me, because unfortunately we live in a world where, and this is true, money talks.
Yes.
And how many times have we heard that? For example, one of the scenarios, Godfather 3, Godfather 1, epic. Godfather 2, holy shit. What's a better word than shit?
I don't
Holy
know.
shit.
Holy shit. So then you have Godfather 3. And then for a lot of time, Francis Ford Coppola said that he did it because of the passion, because he felt the story, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, he came out to money. Which, I mean, that's no surprise. Same scenario. You have other movies like, for example, how many Jurassic Parks do we really need? How many times do we really need to know that doing dinosaurs is a bad idea?
They'll never learn. That's
No.
what the premise of the story is that the humans suck and they'll never learn to
Listen,
leave the damn dinosaurs alone.
When you have Jeff Goldblum in oil with his shirt unbuttoned telling you it's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
That's legit. Like, I cannot understand how people don't understand this.
Yeah,
Look at his nipples. But at the same time, that's a part that I was talking with my friends. That it is kind of frightening, because how many times that they said no, we're never going to do it, and I believe the Pops, they will never do it. But Universal might get a little sneaky, and I mean, because technically the Bob, exactly.
They're itching to do it. I can see that, and again, we're not the ones who make the decisions, and it's probably a good idea, but no, I think the Bobs, their heads and their hearts are in the right place, but hopefully it doesn't come down to money. Now, unfortunately, after they end up passing, I'm not sure who then would have the rights, maybe their children, and then we're talking about another circumstances, and it may come to fruition, but let's hope it not.
So in other words, you're saying that the Bobs can never die.
Yeah, so let's we need to get a real time machine and make sure that these guys are around forever, because they're just Zemeckis and Bob Gale, they're so great when it comes to this franchise as well. I mean, Zemeckis doesn't do as much because the guy's just so darn busy, but Bob Gale, he still gives back so much to the community, to the Back to the Future community.
He really does, and
I just it warms my heart to see that. I mean, the guy is just he's top notch. It doesn't get much better than Bob Gale. He's just he's phenomenal. So.
It got me really excited to see him be part of the and supporting the Back to the Future, the musical.
Yes, both of them actually went over, and I know Bob Gale spent quite a bit more time there. They've been pushing for that for a couple years now, and then to finally see it come to fruition. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go over. The Back to the Future musical guys, they had reached out and they said, "Hey, I've got a couple free tickets for you if you want to come on over." And because of work, I couldn't get over. And then obviously,
man.
I know the pandemic happened, and they were kind enough to send
that thing,
the buttons and the program and everything over to me. But seeing the videos,
we need to be better friends with these guys. Then I want buttons.
Buttons are fantastic, right?
Yeah.
We need a hookup. We need a hookup.
Free swag is where it's at.
I agree.
Jason, if you don't mind, when we go see the show, we're gonna be me and Kayla are gonna be outside the premises, and we're like, we're friends with Jason.
I don't know how far that's gonna get you. Maybe a free soda. I don't think that's gonna get you very far.
Hey, I'm down for a free soda.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's speaking of Bob Gale, his birthday.
No, Zemeckis' birthday,
dude. Zemeckis' birthday. I'm sorry.
Well, Bob Gale's birthday is actually Monday.
That's right.
It's coming up.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So happy future. I get it. Happy future, Bob Gale.
Happy future birthday, Bob Gale.
That's right.
But Bob Zemeckis' birthday was back on the 14th. Turned 68 years old. And then we also had another birthday. We had Don Fullilove celebrated a birthday on the 16th. He is 62 years old. But also in Back to the Future news, apparently Netflix edited Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh, yeah. Ooh la la.
Breaking news. Yes.
Breaking news. See, this is a slow news week. That's what I have to go off of. That Back to the Future 2 on Netflix has 2 ooh la las missing. Who does such a thing?
Who would destroy such a thing?
It annoys me because honestly, we're living in a world where we can't even give people a decent ooh la la. Seriously? Well, no, it's unbelievable. And for what? It's not even that bad what they show.
No, there's nothing vulgar in it at all, which is kind of why this is a little not taboo, but it's just kind of interesting. It's like, for what reason are the 2 extra ooh la las, which are comic genius, by the way, and necessary,
Yes,
not in this sequence?
I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, you see, they don't blur it out when it's on TNT or Freeform or any of these.
No,
normal.
never.
They'll blur out
No.
a few words, a few choice words in that every now and again, but you still get your ooh la la. So it's people are upset. People are demanding justice.
Ooh la la gate 2020.
Oh, that's gonna be trending by the end of the day. Watch.
Oh my God. No, Jason, both you and I have to make little memes, and we'll post those by the end of the day.
Oh
You know, I did saw in MegaCon. I did saw a guy that he was dressed as Biff, and he actually had the copy of Ooh La La.
Oh yeah, the magazine cover.
The magazine Ooh La La and everything. And then when he opened I do not know his name. If he's even listening to this, like I remember that I complimented him in his costume because he goes, "Oh, you want to see Ooh La La?" And, of course you're gonna be like, "Yeah." And when he shows you the magazine, Jason, it's actually the bunch of girls, but it had the faces of Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, Bob Gale, Bob Zemeckis.
That's fantastic.
I know, and it made it so good because you're. And it's pretty bad because you see, people going like watching the Ooh La La magazine, and you're just laughing, and it's like, damn, is that girl that ugly?
Damn.
Yeah, but it was very, very creative.
People are. I'm surprised at how creative people are, especially when it comes to to these Comic-Cons and things like that. People are just so creative, and even when it comes to the Back to the Future trilogy, I love seeing new costumes and new maybe kind of ways to redo old costumes and kind of update them to to 2020 or whatnot. So it's pretty cool.
That being said, obviously you've been involved in this amazing work for 2 years now and more. What's the best costume you've seen around from a fan or?
Gosh, that's tough. I can tell you one of my favorites, and that would be the Darth Vader plutonium, because you can't just buy those. You have to make those. They're pretty creative. So I always love seeing that one. And sometimes people will be out and about and they'll be like, "What is that?" That takes them a little bit to get
That is my absolute favorite. I've only seen it one time at Star Wars Celebration in 2012, but when I did, I was all over that guy. It was amazing.
Yes. It's great. I love that one.
To me personally, it was it's hard because I honestly have to go with a tie. I mean, as much as I love the Biff costume, it's kind of easy. Just get a magazine and you cut it. But I saw a guy actually dress up as the time clock from the Hill Valley, like literally that time clock. And what I thought that was really cool was that every time he took a picture, I don't think a lot of people noticed, but every time he took a picture, if it was like, let's say that you, Jason, were dressed as Marty McFly from Back to the Future 3, he would put the time clock on 3. And then if it was somebody dressed from Back to the Future 2, he would put the time clock on 2. It was.
So what you're telling me is that it's not always at 10:04 p.m.?
No.
That's bullshit.
I appreciate his attention to detail, but if it was, it would have been at 10:04 p.m. instead of. But I get what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah, I get what he's doing.
Yeah, I get what he's doing. It was pretty cool. I appreciate it. I thought it was cool. And then the other costume that I thought it was amazing was oh God, there's been the pictures of it, like the little kids with the DeLorean. I actually saw the guy that they dress up as a Transformers DeLorean. Have you seen that one?
I've seen a few, and those I can't imagine how hard those would be to build.
It's insane. The one I saw was like he's walking by and you're like, look at him, you're like, I have no idea who you are. And then he goes like, because I was dressed as Marty McFly, and he goes, you want to see something cool? And something good's gonna end up with this, or I'm like, okay, what do you got? And he goes and transforms. And the best part of all is that instead of having the sound effect of the Transformers, all right, don't make fun of me.
I'm making fun of you.
Guess what sound effect he had?
DeLorean ones.
The DeLorean ones. Like, this guy went to so much detail that he literally went to the detail of when he's transforming. I guess he had like a timer or something. I don't know. But he had the effects of the DeLorean when he would transform. And I was just like, you just look at this costume, Jason, and you're like drooling of how amazing it was.
Yeah, put some time into that one. That's I love hearing it. And obviously I'd love to, if you have pictures or maybe I can find them online, I'd love to find it.
Oh yeah. I guess I can send you pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. I took some pictures. I can send them to you, and we can talk shit about the guy. It's 10:04, asshole.
And by the way, if the guy's listening, we're very sorry. I'm sure it's an awesome costume. So.
Yeah, it was a cool cut, but it's one of those things that we go like Star Wars nerds. Like for example, when you go it always reminds me of my brother. With the Baby Yoda thing. Oh, Baby Yoda, and my brother goes, first of all, he's not Baby Yoda. He's the child. Okay,
Damn right.
It has never been mentioned him as Baby Yoda. Blah blah blah. And he goes into this whole fit, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
He's not wrong,
and then suddenly goes with some Back to the Future thing, and I go like, first of all, it's 10:04.
I know. I find myself doing it too, and I try not. I really, in public, as far as on like social media, I try not to do that. You don't ever want to make anybody mad, but with my friends and other stuff, I'll maybe bring it up, and they're like, "Of course you would know that, Jason. Of course you know that." So I try not to bring that up too much. I try not to call people out, but I'm just as guilty at times of being like, this, that, or the other thing, and that's another thing. I'll get called out. Every now and again by people like, technically that wasn't this scene, it was another scene. I'm like, you know what? You're right.
That's when the nerd comes out and you just can't help it. It's like, actually, it's more like this rather than this. But, our intentions are good. We don't mean to be mean.
Yeah, I'm learning new things every day. So it's never a bad thing.
Exactly. What else you got, Caitlin?
So you mentioned earlier that the 30th anniversary of Back to the Future 3 is Monday.
That's right. And what else is Monday?
It's this Monday.
And what else is this Monday?
Bob Gale's birthday.
Oh, there you go.
Because I'm an idiot. I'm always biting my tongue. I always have to apologize for something.
You're going to love this one, Jason.
For the 30th... For the 30th anniversary, we decided we're going to do a bonus episode this week. We're going to have an episode drop on Monday, but we want everybody's help out there. So hopefully you guys are listening, whenever we drop this episode, most likely Wednesday, and then you have till about Saturday, but we want your input. If you guys send us your favorite moments, favorite quotes, or just what Back to the Future 3 means to you, and send us voice memos to whatthefluxpod@gmail.com. We would love to play them at the end of our show on Monday. And watch, we won't get any. That's fine. It's cool. But, we're throwing that out there. If you guys want to help us celebrate, email us your voice memos about Back to the Future 3 to whatthefluxpod@gmail.com.
What's that again?
Whatthefluxpod, P-O-D, not the band, at gmail.com.
Can you say that in Spanish?
No, I cannot. But I know you can.
I know, but I'm not. So, Jason, we're happy to have you here, and we're going to be one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was because being nerds of Back to the Future, we get to see a lot of this stuff. We get to see costumes, but in my personal opinion, even better than costumes is people's collections.
Yes.
People, I include myself. I have a small, humble collection of things about these movies in my office. It's funny because when I was a kid, I always used to say that whenever I have my own business or office or whatever, that I always wanted to have a hoverboard at my office, and I did.
Yep. His whole office is just covered in toys and goodies. It's like a toy store in here.
And no shame whatsoever. I collect everything from old school movies like Goonies, Star Wars, Spaceballs, to anime, Robotech, Cowboy Bebop, which I absolutely love Cowboy Bebop, to music stuff. But of course, Back to the Future being one of my favorite movies and favorite trilogy of all times, I do have a couple of really cool things about it. If I had to say my most special item.
Yes, what is your most valued piece that you have in your collection?
That's a hard question because it's the most valuable item that if I sell it, I know I can make a lot of money.
But most valuable to you?
Well, it has to be the hoverboard, obviously, when I got it signed by the cast.
Yeah.
Oh.
But also something that's really special to me was, and I still have to show you this, the little DeLorean that I got from the actual Back to the Future store from Universal Studios when they used to sell them. And the fact that I still have that, and the fact that, it's so, it brings obviously the nostalgia from the ride and everything. It's amazing. I mean, it's just so hard to admit, but the fact that I have that little toy with me after all these years is still really cool. Obviously, that's something I will never sell, but definitely having that hoverboard signed by the whole cast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's just amazing. What about you? What do you got, Caitlin?
So my favorite thing in my collection now, as of last week, now has a tie for first place, because it's always been the poster that I got signed last year at MegaCon, because it has, Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, Leah Thompson, Thomas F. Wilson, and James Tolkien signed it. And eventually I'm going to get everybody to sign it. And, if anybody comes to town or whatever, I'm going to roll up that poster and have as many people from the first movie to sign that poster. But my wife really killed it for our anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
Like, killed it. And got me that Ibanez Series 2 Roadstar guitar, which is the exact model that Marty plays in the gym audition scene with Huey Lewis. And that's just like the best present ever. So those two are definitely my most loved.
Sweet. What about you, Jason? What do you got?
What do you got?
How long is this podcast?
As long as you want,
man. It has to be.
No, I've got just a plethora of things. Too much to go into, but I will say, I've got several things with the cast autograph. I mean, I got a really cool poster, obviously, with the cast autograph, including Spielberg, Zemeckis, Bob Gale. My favorite thing.
All right, you won.
No. My favorite thing right now that I probably have is back when they restored the A car. Joe Walser, who's been fantastic, I've gotten to know him pretty well. When they restored the A car, they took parts off of the car that they could not put back on the car. Just some things were they couldn't restore and put back on the car.
Right.
So they took a very select few parts, kind of cut them down, framed them in a nice case and frame, and then sold them for charity for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So Joe was kind enough to put some very special parts in a box for me, and I purchased it. So I have parts sitting about 3 feet away from me that were from the actual original A car.
Oh, that's awesome. I've seen other people that have bought those for when they were up for sale for charity, and that's just so cool.
And the fact that it went for a good cost, that's even better, man.
Exactly. I think that's the big thing there, and I'll never sell it. I mean, I'll never sell anything, but that thing to me is probably the best or my most favorite piece. And then I have the Nike Air Mags. They're the replica. They're the replicas, but they're like the $600 pair replicas that. I mean, they basically this company took Nike, the mold, they reconstructed the actual shoes and built them. They even have the Nike. I mean, these things are just amazing. I never wear them. I've never worn them. They're still in the box. I do break them out.
The way it should be.
Yes, I break them out for special occasions, but those things are just. I mean, they're awesome. That's all I ever wanted, really, when I was a kid, was those shoes, and I now have them.
So it's the same thing with me and the hoverboard.
Yes.
Now, here's the question. Me and my friends we always like to ask each other this because, we are collections. Unfortunately, Jason, your house is on fire and you have only one item to get out of the house. What would it be?
First, my fiance.
Oh, good answer.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Good job.
She's in the other room. She can probably hear me, so I should probably give her a little credit. I love you, honey. So
what's her name, Jason?
Her name's Michelle. So
here's a shout out to Michelle.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we were supposed to be getting married in a month, and we've had to now since push that back a few times with the pandemic. So it's been a bit stressful for her. Yes. So she's gone through a lot. So God bless her. She's been fantastic. And I honestly, I've got the best fiance.
Happened.
Yeah, everybody's dealing with something. It's not just us. Everybody's dealing with this pandemic the best way they can. So no, she's been great.
Well,
so first and foremost, it would be make sure she's out, and then I'm trying to think how much I can grab with two hands, right? So so probably hoverboard shoes, parts from the A car. At least
That's one
that.
hand.
Yeah, I could probably get it in one hand, and then the other one, I framed newspapers from the movie, probably.
Oh,
Now they weren't screen
Have
used,
you-
but they were made from the actual molds, or not molds, but this guy I know, he did he made these replica newspapers for They Were Going Back in 2015, and then he never ended up getting them for whatever reason to the guys who were going to distribute them. So he's got like 20 or 30 of these available, like the George McFly from Murdered to Commended and all that. So I have got a bunch of those that were from the originals. They were scans of the originals, and then they used a printing press to make these authentic newspapers. So I've got a bunch of those that I think are
That's
pretty
awesome.
valuable, probably. So yeah.
Have,
What about you
have
guys?
you
You
seen
got-
or I was going to ask you real quick, Jason. Did you by any chance have that? I've only seen I think once. It's the newspaper with the oh my god, his name, the Peabody Farm. That he says that he went to the insane to an asylum because he said that he saw the aliens land.
Yeah.
Do you know that newspaper on time?
I do, and I do have a copy of that.
Oh my god, you actually have that.
It's not.
He's peeing his pants right now.
Not screen used. You know that those things are a little bit out of my budgetary constraints. But yeah, no, you can. Again, I was talking with different people. You know, listen, we can get in obviously with collectibles, but eBay is a fantastic tool. You really gotta have
eBay.
Yes, you gotta have a fine eye when it comes to buying things because you certainly don't want to overpay. But there's so many amazing Back to the Future things, original things even from the 80s that are for sale
eBay
from
is the
people.
death of me.
Yeah.
And me as well. So,
It really is. But one of my coolest, most recent eBay purchases was maybe about a month ago. For $7, I got the Back to the Future Happy Meal toys.
that's a score right there. That's a score.
Yeah, no, I got all 4 of them for $7. It was great.
I can tell you right now that's less than what I paid. I have all of them in the packages, and that's less
See,
than I paid.
mine aren't in the package; they're open, but still, they're in pretty good shape.
She's so proud of those things. They're so shitty
cool.
ass looking.
It's cool. They're cool as hell. You shut your mouth.
You're like, you look at it, you're like, this is supposed to be Marty McFly?
Hey, why not, man? But I've got quite a bit of stuff, I guess. I've got every
You got the
single.
Pepsi.
I've got the Pepsi Perfect. That was another gift from my wife for our anniversary.
That's great.
So
That's
that was in my top 10 must-have, and now I finally got one, which is cool. But I have every single Funko Pop except for the glow-in-the-dark Doc Brown, which is way too expensive, and the Marty Enchantment Under the Sea with the guitar Funko Pop, which Eugene has.
Oh, that's the one I got.
Yeah, it's right there in your
Yeah,
office.
that's the one. You want to see it?
No, I don't want to see it. So those are the only 2 Funko Pops that I'm missing. And I, of course, have the 30th anniversary Blu-ray that has the flux capacitor in the front where you press the button and it lights up.
Oh, yeah.
I've also got the Doc Brown vinyl idol, which I need the Marty to that. What else do I have? My God. I know I have a scale model of the DeLorean from the first film with the connecting hook. And, I have the comic books. I have the IDW comic books as well.
Another really good thing I got is the one of the posters done by the amazing artist Drew Struzan. And I actually got to meet him, and he signed kind of like the, obviously, copies because I don't know if you know this, Jason. He gets to keep everything original.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
And, and he was actually a really cool dude to meet. I met him at MegaCon, and I bought his book and just talking to him, and because I was telling him that I actually miss the old looking posters from back in the day when they were literally hand painted. Now everything's done, obviously like most everything's done digital.
Yeah.
And I was asking him, his thoughts about it, and I like the fact that he looked at me like, well, it sucks, and you can quote me on that. I'm like, hot scoop. And but he was just a really pleasant guy to talk to, and being surrounded by so many Back to the Future fans, I've actually made a list of some of the things that we think are the hardest to find. and most rare too. Let me know if you've seen any of these, Jason. I would love to have your opinion on this. Number one was the Precious Moments Back to the Future, Marty DeLorean. Have you seen that?
Whoa, hold on a second. Are you going into your list right now?
Oh, I am going on the list.
Okay, hold on. You have to explain to the people what we've done. You're just jumping into it.
I just went there.
You're just going in there.
No,
okay, so what we've done for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, Eugene.
Because I wanted to go there because I want to know if Jason has seen or has any of these.
Right, but hold on. We compiled our top 5 lists of collectibles that we would like in our collections.
True.
So that's what we've done.
Well, we'll do it your way.
Whatever. I just thought we had a plan here, and he's just jumping ship. Where's your freaking life preserver?
Oh. Who needs one?
Oh, wow.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that was really
wow.
That was really well played.
Thank
Played.
Thank you.
I'm going to steal that one from you.
No.
Yes. So yeah, pretty much it's our 5 items that
our 5 items that we wish we had in our Back to the Future collections. Now, Eugene, you can tell us your top 5.
And I got my life preserver.
Good. Don't drown, dork.
So it was Precious Moments Back to the Future, Marty DeLorean. Have you seen that one?
I've seen it, but I do not have it.
Oh, okay. All right. Number 2. At the taxi cab from Back to the Future 2, there was a collectible made. Only 500 were made of these.
Seen.
Do you know who made them?
Don't have. I don't think I do.
Yeah, I saw it from a collector in YouTube. I had to write him because I was just amazed. Like, where did you found that, and where do you live? And he responded with, "I'm gonna call the cops on you." And but no, seriously, he responded like he got it in Japan. That's what he said. He got it in Japan, store there, and I'm like, I'll believe it because it was just so cool. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I mean, all the best stuff's made in Japan, right?
That's very true. That is very true. Einstein plush doll with a time clock.
Nice.
Have you seen that?
I've seen it, and I don't have it, and I've almost pulled the trigger 2 or 3 times. I've seen them on eBay. They can be salty. They can be expensive.
Yes.
So I haven't pulled the trigger. So that's very, very, very good item.
Yeah, they do accept an arm and a leg. So if you guys have an arm and a leg that you don't need, you can have an Einstein plush doll.
I need to find a spare. Can I borrow yours?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, there we go.
I can live with one. I got you, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm your life preserver.
Oh, gosh.
and you're my dead city.
Oh, my God. Stop.
Oh, this one I am actually going to jump on board, and I'm going to get one of these, Jason. It's the Marty with the brother and sister picture that disappears.
Yes, that's very cool.
I saw it on eBay for $75.
For that much? Why?
That seems a bit much, but I'd say keep looking.
Like, can't you just buy one that, you shake it and they disappear and they reappear?
I like that. I really do. I think it's really cool, and I like that. Plus, it's...
I'll find you one for $10.
Well,
yeah.
Shit. You just...
Let us look first, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, the guy on eBay needed it for his kid, so I guess he's screwed.
Screw that guy.
This one. This is a good one.
Okay.
And you know where I'm going. DeLorean car. It's a hat made of a DeLorean, and it lights up. And again, it comes from Japan.
Yes. I've seen it. That is very, very rare. Very rare. It's very rare. You've got a good eye. You have a very good eye.
Thank you. 2020 brown eyes. My girlfriend tells me I can always see everything clear as everything.
Oh wow.
No.
As right now, I can imagine her face saying, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I always say that your eyes are so brown because you're full of shit.
Oh, damn!
And I know that's what your girlfriend would say.
I know for that's a fact because she tells me all the time. She says the sweetest things. I know, right? Hi, honey. She knows she'll be the third thing I get out of the house if it's on fire. Anyway, we go.
Oh, that is so messed up.
I love you. No, she knows it's the second. Anyway, so it's. I also have this is a good one. I mentioned it before. If I could ever get my hands an original poster from Drew Struzan. Original.
Sure.
Which is hard
Yes.
and practically impossible.
It is, because he has the only one.
Yeah. But how awesome would that be?
That'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah. So that's my collection.
All right. That's your top 5.
That's my top 5. What do you got?
So my top 5, I'm going to do mine backwards and in order from importance because, I do my list properly, unlike you.
No, I just go with it.
Yeah, that's fine. So number 5 on my list is the Mondo 6 LP colored vinyl box set that came out a few years back. I'm a big record collector. So not only do I collect, Back to the Future memorabilia, Beatles memorabilia, Elvis memorabilia, Ghostbusters memorabilia. So, this has got to be on the list too. So that set is really cool because it comes in the yellow plutonium handle with care case. And then each set of vinyl is, of course, colored. And unfortunately, Mondo sold out of those box sets. But you can buy the individual LPs on Mondo's website still. I think they're like $35 each for...
yeah, but you want...
but I want the set with the box.
Yeah, you want the box
really
set.
bad. Number 4 on my list is the Marty Madrid skateboard from Back to the Future 1. I just think it's cool. It's purple. I want it. Let me have it.
I want it.
That's my only reason for anything. And I know just recently Madrid came out with reproductions of those skateboards, but of course I found out way after they sold out, so that's my luck.
Yeah.
Jason, I believe the correct noise for this will be wah, wah.
Yeah, we have to.
That noise will follow me around wherever I go because that's just my life.
No.
Number 3 on my list is the Matty Collector hoverboard. Now,
Yes.
I know that there are 2 different kinds. You have the Matty Collector hoverboard, and then you just have a regular Back to the Future 2 hoverboard. But I want the Matty Collector one because it's it comes with the box with the little girl on the front, and I just think that's so incredible. Number 2, a pair of Nike Air Mags. I want Air Mags so bad. I've always wanted them, and after this pandemic thing is over and I get back to work and I can save money, I'm getting myself a pair of Air Mags. That's just...
I might know a guy who knows a guy. So listen, you let me know. I can get you them not at what they would cost normally on the replica. So I can probably get you a really, really good deal. So you let me know.
I appreciate that, Jason.
Hey,
Thank
Kayla,
you.
I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that can get you that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
I know Jason.
That's right. So those Nike Air Mags, and dude, once I get them, I'm sorry, I'm wearing them everywhere. I might have to get 2 at some point because I need one to wear and I need one to keep in perfect condition because I have to. They're just the coolest and I want them. Now, my number 1 is actually something I mentioned not last week, but the week before, is the yellow Chiquita travel guitar from the opening sequence in Back to the Future Part 1. I want that guitar so damn bad. It's so cute. I want everything. Kidding me? It's a good thing we only did top 5. I could probably fill this up with like a top 20, a top 50, top 100. I want everything from little buttons to stickers to the Topps playing cards. I want everything.
Jason, you're not here, but if you are looking at what I'm looking, the best way to describe is, remember the old movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
I want it now.
Oh no.
That's literally what I'm looking at right now.
But I want it now. All
I
right.
want it now, Daddy.
I want to lay the golden egg.
What about you, Jason? What are your 5 top things?
Well, I will say I have way more than just 5 top 10s. And I've been fortunate. Again, I've been collecting for many years. And I will say this, and I know you guys are aware of the Gray's Back to the Future Almanac, the official memorabilia guide from 1985 to 2015 that Rob Klein and Jennifer Smith put out. This thing is the holy grail when it comes to collectors. So if anybody's out there and does not have this, I think you can still probably pick up some copies at Amazon or eBay or whatnot. But try and they did such a good job with. There's so much stuff that's out there that I had no idea existed. Now, granted, it's hard to come by a lot of these items. That's why I said eBay is the greatest single thing for trying to find authentic, original Back to the Future collectibles. So that's where I go, obviously, to get a lot of my collectibles. And I have some very, 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 very rare. I mean, I have the T-shirts that they gave cast and crew that only the cast and crew have. I was able to pick up one of those. I mean,
dude.
Yeah. What?
I mean,
wait. Yes. Could you repeat that again, please?
Yeah.
You got one of the shirts for the cast and crew?
Eugene's eyes are bugging out of his skull as we speak.
Do. So they gave cast and crew a specific T-shirt, and it is in this book. You know, on the front it says Back to the Future, and then on the back all it says is back, and it has the arrow. And then there's very specific ways to tell if it's an original shirt because they have been copied over the years. I've noticed by several companies, but by looking at the tag, and also I have gotten to be pretty good friends with Dangerous Bob, who was
hell yeah! Shout out to Dangerous Bob. I love that guy.
Yes, the danger.
Awesome. Dangerous. This guy's
dangerous.
Awesome, his stories from on set. I mean, you know, this guy's he's one of my favorite human beings.
I've messaged him, and I'm still waiting for a reply. But I hope that we can get him on the podcast someday.
Well, name like Dangerous Bob.
I'll have to reach out to him as well and see if I can't maybe further the process along, because this guy's he bends over backwards. He's willing to do anything when it comes to helping people out for the franchise. But he saw my shirt, and I wanted to confirm it was actually, you know, the not screen shirt, but the shirt that the cast and the crew had, and he confirmed it. He said, "Boy, you found a diamond in the rough." You know, he's like, you know what you're looking for. I said, "Well, I got lucky, I guess." So
that's awesome.
Tell him put in a good word for us. Tell him we recycle. Tell him we save the whale. Tell him we help old ladies cross the street. Whatever you got to tell him so we can have him in the show.
I don't think it'll be too hard to get him on. Like I said, I think he'd be more than willing. But I don't want to put any words in his mouth, and I'll pass it along and see what he says. Some of my wants, obviously, that I would like to have in, these are not in any discernible order, but for whatever reason, I never ended up getting the Pepsi Perfect, the one that Pepsi, you know, that they came out. I never got it. I had a chance to pick one up again, eBay, for I think it was like $75, and that's cheap by what these go for on eBay. I never got it. I should have.
What it is.
So I think that's on the list. That's on the list for probably sometime in the next year. I'll pick one of those up. There was
Jason,
and again, this was in the
Jason,
book.
you forgot one thing.
Yes.
You forgot one thing.
What's that?
The most amazing thing you should have in your collection. A What the Flux shirt.
When are we going to get those made? Number one.
Aha!
Yeah.
You interrupt this guy talking just to say what the fuck shirt.
Jason?
You're terrible.
Jason, I'm gonna, because you've been so generous and so nice, I'm gonna do something for you.
Oh, you are not.
I am going to. I'm going there. Jason, I'm making you the honorary What the Flux Best Friend of the Week.
I'm never gonna get this.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I know. It's been your dream since you were a boy.
Well, I mean, much like everybody else, I listen to the podcast every episode. I'm like, what's a guy got to do, you know, around here to be a fan of the week?
What do I got to do? You gave one to Anthony before you gave one to me. Homeboy hasn't been here in 2 weeks.
Well, you know, I will give you one, but there's a really big reason why.
Huh?
Because Jason's cooler.
He is cooler than me. I'll give you that. He is way cooler than me.
I don't think so. I got to ask my fiance. She'll tell you absolutely not. I am the least cool person in the world. I'm about as normal as it gets. Just like you guys. I just thought of a question really quick, Jason. Is your fiance going to let you guys have a Back to the Future themed wedding?
Oh.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, it's her day, and no. It's her, you know, I'm on board for everything that we're having, and it's going to be a gorgeous wedding. But no, I would not. This is my fandom, not hers. She is not into Back to the Future. She allows me to watch it. She's fine with me doing all the stuff I love doing for it.
So you're telling us
there's a chance.
So you're telling us there's a chance. That's a chance.
That ship has sailed long ago. But I'm going to try and figure out maybe a few ways to maybe sneak something in. So we'll see what we can do.
Hey.
Aha.
Well, Jason, we're gonna get your info. I'm gonna send you because I'm actually making these for sure. I'm making the official What the Vlogs Eugene best friend of the week, and I'm gonna send you one of our stickers so you can have it. And I know you have a lot of your collection and blah blah blah.
He hasn't even finished his top 5.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm going to send it to. We already know what's his number 1. It's this. So I'm going to send that to you, Jason.
Yeah, I was going to say that was in my top 5, and now I've only got what?
Told you.
3 left.
Told you. Exactly. So Jason, when I send you this, can you please send us a picture with the sticker?
We have to get these made, man.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to, of course.
I will do. Now I know that my life has meaning.
Just the little things in life. No, you are just fine. We're getting there. This one is probably not as well known. It is in the book, but so there was this. Do you remember the Rough Rider? They were little toy trucks. Their wheels on them were like monster trucks. So there was Marty's 4x4 black truck, and on the hood it said "Back to the Future." So
yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so these were you could only get them by mail-in, and I've seen one on eBay. I never pulled the trigger. I thought it was a bit too much, and then it sold, and I've never been able to get it. So it's just the personal thing. Like I gotta have it.
Yeah,
and it's really hard to come by. So I'm like, I gotta have it. So I'm actively searching for that. That is.
Out of curiosity, how much was it going for?
I mean, I think it was going for around $100. To me, that seems a bit much. And I think I made an offer around $50. Which is probably still even. Listen, you can put anything on eBay and put as much money as you want. You know, people can pay whatever they want to pay for something. If somebody pays that, it's worth that to that person. So I'm certainly not going to say that it's not worth that. It's worth as much as you'd like to pay, but for me, it's not worth that much.
Wow,
and
I remember that, man.
There's so much, and I will say briefly, just for you two, before this, gets out and people start scouring the interwebs for these. The first ever Back to the Future promotional item that was ever for sale, it was a pin. And it said, obviously, Back to the Future, had the Back to the Future logo on it. And it said, on July 19th, I'm going Back to the Future. And Back to the Future was blue. That pin, as you guys may or may not know, it didn't get the movie. They pushed the movie up to July 3rd. So that pin is a huge collectible. It was the very first item ever. So you can, every now and again, you can find them on eBay. I would suggest getting on eBay, finding that blue,
Eugene just literally pulled out his phone, and he is going on eBay right now.
I am on it now.
So that one, and then there's obviously the original pin. So it'd be the second pin, which says on July 3rd, I'm going Back to the Future. That one's a lot more prevalent. You'll see that one every now and again on eBay, but the blue one, if you find that one, snatch it up. I try not to buy duplicates because I want other people to be able to have the opportunity. The blue one, I generally will buy if I think I bought one for like $3 or $4 like a month ago, which is just absurd because
I have to get one for my wife.
Yes.
I definitely have to get her one with her birthday on it. That'd be so cool.
So search out there, search weekly. You'll eventually find one because I think I do see them enough to where it's not a crazy, obnoxious thing that'll never come up. But just to give you some heads up, it is the very first ever item that Back to the Future ever put out for promotion. So
very cool.
Get your hands on that if you can. So where was I? The Pepsi Perfect. Oh yeah, the Rough Riders toy. It has been a thorn in my side. That Back to the Future DeLorean hat from Universal Studios Japan.
Oh man, you guys are on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
It is a thorn in my side. It's awesome, and I've been wanting that for so long. And true story, I've never seen it up for sale. And I will say, go follow. There's a great Instagram. You guys probably follow it. I think it's BTTF Collection or Back to the Future Collection. This guy lives in Japan.
Yeah.
And he's got the best collection. He's got, they're not necessarily screen used but he's got, I think he specializes in Universal Studios collection. He's got some of the best stuff. So if you're not following him, shout out to that guy. I don't know who he is. I follow him. I think
we follow that account too. His stuff is insane.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So I'll end up looking on his collection and saying, oh, okay, I don't have that. I better. So then I'll just start searching once or twice a week on eBay and seeing
how much is a firstborn going.
I'm sorry?
How much are firstborns going for these days? Because I'm looking at the pins and it's quite expensive.
if you can find that blue pen, I think you could probably get one for anywhere from $20 to $50.
Oh no, I'm looking at the Back to the Future Japan hat.
Oh, the hat. Oh gosh, yeah, probably 200 to 500.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo!
I know. I would probably pay a couple $100 for that just because I've been wanting so long. I would probably do that. Another thing that is, let's see. Oh, and thankfully this is coming to fruition. Probably at the end of next year. I mean, this is kind of a big ticket item here, and I've always obviously wanted a DeLorean, so. I've been saving for so long, and it's just never. Well, there's never a right time to buy one. We're moving into a new home here in a few weeks, so we're leaving down. We live in a big high-rise downtown Chicago, so we're actually moving to the suburbs. We got a nice home to start a family in, so we're leaving the city. And so I was like, now's probably not the best time to go buy a DeLorean. So that's my number one. Yes, nonsense. Please tell her that. So.
No, but just imagine in a few years, when you and your lady start your family, and you would be that cool dad with a DeLorean.
Yeah, I am. Thankfully, she's like, listen,
you can't put a car seat in it, but it's still cool.
I don't know. I think I might
be able to go on the top. Yeah.
How cool is the baby? Any judge. I'm sorry, but this is a fact, Jason. Let's say you're going with your lady and you put the baby on the roof of the car. Nobody's going to stop you and be like, oh, what an irresponsible dad. Everybody's going to be like, that's a badass baby. Even the judge be like, dude, can I get it right?
I mean, are you telling me you put a car seat on a DeLorean? I mean, I might get some sympathy points. I don't know. But
it seems to me if you're going to do it, why not do it with style?
Do it with Hey, do it with style. Now I'm going to have Child Protective Services calling after this episode, so that's just fantastic.
Oh, they're already here in the door. We're just not letting them in. Wait, get a ticket. I know for a fact that the saddest day of my life was when I used to work at the Hard Rock, and they brought the DeLorean, and I was just amazed. I'm looking. I feel like the angels were singing, and I'm looking at this car because we had an event that they had the DeLorean, and there was a guy dressed as Marty McFly. Then there comes another guy dressed as Doc Brown, and I'm looking at this and just watching it, and they go, "Do you want to get in?" And of course, I'm like, "Oh my God, this is happening! Like this is really happening!" And I go in, and there's a little factor that I forgot. Michael J. Fox is 5'4".
Yes.
I'm 6'3". I didn't fit in the car.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, I remember being this grown ass adult. No, I want to get in. And then, dude, you can't fit. No, I can't fit. Let me in. Yeah, that happened.
Hey, guess what? I fit in.
Yes.
I fit in the car. I'm 5'3".
You know what?
What?
You're in the list.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. You're in the shit list. You're not in the manure list.
Oh, no. Oh, I like what you did there.
You're in the manure list.
I hate manure.
Oh, well, there you go. On that sense, Jason, we cannot thank you enough for your time. This is really awesome to have you here. Honestly, it's just cool to talk to other fans out there and just talk about collections and stuff and geeking out. But at the end of the day, it's all, talking about a little movie called Back to the Future.
Amen.
Well, I appreciate it again. You guys are fantastic. You're amazing. I'm so happy you guys started doing this podcast. You guys have been doing such an awesome job. So I got to give kudos to you guys. I love listening to every single episode. And for all the Back to the Future fans out there, I keep telling them and I keep sharing your guys' podcast when they're new. If you're not listening to this podcast and you're not following you guys on Instagram, why haven't you done it yet? Get on it. Follow you guys. Listen. What do you got to do? The pandemic's going on. I mean,
exactly.
If you love Back to the Future, you might as well listen, right?
We appreciate your support so much. I don't think we would be reaching the amount of people we are without you. So we really thank you for always liking our posts and sharing our posts. And anytime we have a new episode, you're always the first person to reach the masses. So honestly, Jason, we couldn't do this without you.
That's right. And on that final note, too, if I may, I also want to congratulate. I know, with everything that's going on, we kind of forget about things that are happening. And a lot of our 2020 class seniors are graduating.
Oh, yeah.
And
Those guys.
we want to send a shout out to all of you graduates. Congratulations, you did it. You know what? It might be a little different, but the fact remains you graduated. And I especially want to send a big shout out to Scarlett. She's my girlfriend. This is how I get the points back. This is for Scarlett, my girlfriend, Alnice. And I just want to give her a shout out and congratulations to her and to all the people that are graduating.
Yeah, I actually have 2 cousins that are graduating this class, both of one of my father's side and one of my mother's side. So Ben and Amy, congratulations on graduating.
You got anyone that's graduating, Jason?
I don't, but I've seen several people out here when I go for my runs, and they're on the river. And the best thing that they got going on right now is they're taking pictures just out in the city. And so I try and tell them to stop, and I say, "Hey, congratulations! You did it." So everybody listening, that has a family member that's certainly graduated, they worked hard for it. So congratulations, and make sure you be sure to tell them congratulations on your behalf as well. So good job, guys.
Awesome.
Awesome. And if any of you guys decide to make a time machine, whatever you do, don't come back to 2020.
Yes, no.
And on that note, Caitlin?
Well, my friends, thank you very much for listening. We are What the Flux, and whether it be the past... No, I fucked that up. See, this is why Anthony needs to be here.
You really fucked that up.
Whether it be the future or the past.
There you go.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to What the Flux. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at WhatTheFlux_pod. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. And be sure to recommend us to your other time-traveling friends.
Hasta la bye-bye.